Chamber of Commerce and why you are behind this idea with Rock. And please also feel free to weave in the Olmsted story, because the tragedy of destroying one of the most beautiful parkway systems in America.
That's a lot for the short time that she's given me to talk. But just trying to be very concise in recognizing time limits. I first would like to mention that the Black Chamber of Commerce. The Black Chamber of Commerce's role is to improve the conditions of the black business community in the western New York, and more specifically the city of Buffalo. And that has taken us through many phases. When we first started out, we were somewhat naive. We thought that we'd snap a finger and put the idea on the table and things would happen, but it hasn't been like that. The Black Chamber of Commerce has been in operation now for maybe 21, 22 years. And we're almost like a day old, because some of the issues that we were getting ready to charge at way back then, we're still, well, we're not getting ready to, we're charging at them, but it's taken a very long time. And one of the charges that we identified early is that collaboration is a key in the success of rebuilding a community. You have a lot of different ideas, and not that any one is less significant than the other one, there's just a lot of them. And how do you bring them together? And one of the things that we do is about jazz. Jazz is a piece where you get musicians who don't know each other, and they can get on a platform and present a musical presentation that becomes world-renowned just by having all the different ideas that's put there. And our collaboration effort is the same factor. That what we thought is that if we can bring some, I'm going to use the word brilliant, but I don't know if there's anything less than brilliant people in this community. But we wanted some brilliant minds to sit at the table and focus in on specific issues at one time. There are a lot of things, and if you get diverted and try to talk about all of them, you find that your hour is gone. So we were specific. And the specific thing in terms of the black community is that you have Jefferson Avenue, that I'm sure everybody's familiar with, and you have Fillmore Avenue, everyone's familiar with. And if you look at the commercial atmosphere of these communities, you say, wow, that's a dying commercial atmosphere. I'd rather go out to suburbia and buy whatever. I'd rather drive an additional 5 miles to get what I want, because it's too difficult to find it here in the community. And surprisingly enough, at the time that they cut down the first tree is when businesses started moving out of Buffalo. If you looked at the business community in those places that I mentioned, you'd see a different image then than you see now. And that image began to change back in the 60s when they began that process of destroying our community. Well, not really destroying it, because they haven't done that. If you go up and down Humboldt Parkway, presently the Martin Luther King Parkway, and you look at it now, you see some very brilliant people that have done some things with their properties that it's hard to believe. They've survived in this hostile environment. And it's a rewarding thing to see that kind of courage. And what we wanted to do at this table that I'm talking about is bring that kind of courage collectively into resolving the problem. So we see that if the Parkway is reestablished, it then begins a tone. The Parkway began that process of tearing it down, and we believe the Parkway can begin that process of building it. And we believe that if we can put this cover, we'd like to go all the way to the 198 and beyond. But as a first phase, if we can begin this process of restoring from Ferry Street to Best Street to the Museum of Science, if we can put trees on top of that land, we don't want to disrupt the traffic. You know, we want suburbia to still come in and grab their money and leave. We don't have a lot of problem with that. But what we want to see is that it doesn't disrupt our life in our community as much as it has. For example, trees is God's way of giving us breathing space. You know, the imperfections that come into our air, the trees filter it out. So we want to see that system put back into our community. And it's not original as was suggested that 20 years ago. In fact, we have a friend of Clark Eaton who is an architect, and they're close to the same.
Vintage?
I don't want to say that, but they've known each other for quite a while. And when there was conversation in the mind of Clark Eaton, Clark bounced it off of his friend, and I want Dave to.